All right, so we're going to work through this semester review so you can make sure that you're ready for your DPM tomorrow. All right, describe the domain of the following graph in words. On your DPM, it's not going to be in words as long as you know what the symbols are. Okay, so domain, if you remember the doctor's name is XY. Domain refers to the X. We also have dealer to help us remember the directions. It is left to right. So the left of this graph is right here at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5. And that's a closed circle. So we're going to put the line underneath our symbol. We'll talk an X. And then the right side of our graph is over here at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one we are not going to put the line underneath because it is an open circle. What is the y-intercept as an ordered pair? So it wants the entire point. So right here at 0, negative 1. The y-intercept has a y value that matches up with 0 for the x. Look at the function shown below. F of x simply means y equals. So you could put this in your calculator. Negative 2 parentheses x plus 4 minus 7. Because this negative 1 is inside the parentheses, remember Wakanda forever, it's an x value. You're looking for where we have negative 1 on the x value, which is negative 13. If you're at home without a calculator, all you're doing is replacing the x with negative 1. So negative 2, instead of x, we have negative 1 plus 4 minus 7. Inside the parentheses first, so negative 2, negative 1 plus 4 is 3 minus 7. Negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6. Minus 7 gives you a negative 13. All right, what is the x value of the solution to the system? Honestly, I think that the easiest way to do this is on your calculator. But to be able to plug it in your calculator, you have to know how to solve for y. So we isolate opposite side. We need to move this 5 to the opposite side by subtracting 5. And you write it side by side. So this is x minus 5, side by side, equals 2y. And then the final step is to divide. You divide each part by 2. So y equals x divided by 2 minus 5 divided by 2. For the other equation, isolate, you're circling that y part, opposite side, so we need to move whatever else is over here, so minus 2x. You write it side by side. And then the final step is to divide. We divide each part by this negative 3. So y equals 12 divided by negative 3 is a negative 4. Negative and a negative is a positive 2/3 x. Now that I have my equations, I can put them both in y equals x divided by 2 minus 5 divided by 2. And then we have negative 4 plus 2 divided by 3x. We are looking for your y1 matches your y2. Right here, at 9, both of the values are 2. So your solution is the entire point, 9, 2. Write the function in standard form. For my students, I use the acronym Eat Your Doritos Before Class. The E is for expand. Okay, so this means that you're going to write that 2, and then x minus 4 squared means x minus 4 times x minus 4 minus 30. The D is for distribute. You are going to distribute this 2 to that first set of parentheses. So we get 2x minus 8, x minus 4 minus 30. The B is for the box. You're going to put both of those parentheses and multiply using the box. 2x minus 8 on one side, x minus 4 on the other. X and 2x gives you 2x squared. X and negative 8 is a negative 8x. Negative 4 and 2x is a negative 8x. Negative and a negative is a positive 32. And then the C is for combine. We need to combine this with this negative 30 as well. So your final answer is 2x squared. Combine your like terms here to get a negative 16x. 32 minus 30 is a positive 2. Now on your DPM tomorrow, you are going to have multiple choice. This is an equation. Anytime it gives you an equation, put it in the calculator. So 2 parentheses x minus 4 squared minus 30. And then do you see any other equations that I could put in the calculator? Oh yeah, your answer choices. So 2x squared minus 16x plus 2. I wish I'd clicked table. Sorry about that. Second graph. When you look at the table, you'll notice that every single value is the same. These two equations are equivalent. It's just a different form. This is your vertex form. This is your standard form. So make sure that you utilize your calculator tips and tricks on your BPM tomorrow. All right, number 6. What are the zeros? Zeros simply mean x-intercepts. We're looking for where this crosses the x-axis. Right here at -4, 0, and right here at 0, 0. These are also called roots and can also be called solutions if you're looking for f of x equals 0. Domain. This is your dealer again. Now on your copy, you have arrows down here to show you or remind you that this is the entire function. So left, this is going to keep going. I don't know how far left it's going to go. And to the right, it's going to keep going. I don't know how far to the right it goes. So the domain is all real numbers. Every single quadratic function, the domain is all real numbers. Unless you have endpoints, like on this next one, it's going to be all real numbers. All right, so on 8, here it's asking you to find the range. Dr. XY, the range is asking you to find the Y values. So right away, you know you can eliminate those two answer choices. J of X is just another name for Y. So range is our robot, which means you're looking bottom to top. The bottom of this is at -4. And remember, if it's a closed circle, you need the line underneath. So that's why your answer has got to be D. What is the range of this equation? Okay, you can do this by hand if you know your math, okay? But it's easier in our calculator. So we're looking at range, which is the Y values. This is an equation. Let's put it in our calculator. So I'm going to type in -2x squared plus 4x plus 1. And let's look at the graph. We don't know how low it's going to go. We don't know where the bottom is because it's going to keep going. So we need to find out where this top is, where that vertex is, looking at our table. You look for your pairs. 1 goes with 1, -5 with -5, -15, -15, and right in the middle is 1, 3. So that Y value is the 3. So we need to ask ourselves, are the Y values greater than that 3 or are they less than that 3? All of these numbers are less than or equal to that 3. So Y is less than or equal to 3. Which I could also remember if you remember the fact that there's a negative in the front, which you know is going to make a frowny face. It's a negative quadratic. It's sad. So all of your values are less than because it's going down. 10. Find the equivalent. Again, on your test tomorrow, you're going to have answer choices. You can put the entire thing in Y1 and your answers in Y2 and see which one matches. But when we're multiplying by hand, we use the box. So we have an x squared minus 5x plus 2. Each term gets a box. And then -6x plus 4. So this is going to give me -6x cubed, because there's an x here and 2 x's here. Negative and a negative is a positive 30x squared. And then -12x. Here, this gives me 4x squared. 4 times -5 is -20x. And then 8. You can combine your like terms. Those are both x squareds. These are both x's. So you get -6x cubed. 4 plus 30 is 34x squared. -20 and a -12 is a -32x plus 8. So let's just pretend that this was an answer choice. This is answer choice A. So let's practice what we're going to do on the test. In y1, I'm going to put x squared minus 5x plus 2 times negative 6x plus 4. In y2, negative 6x to the third plus 34x squared minus 32x plus 8. And you'll notice that every single thing is exactly the same. That is the correct answer. Factor out the GCF. The very first thing I see is a negative, and so I know I have to pull out that negative. We don't want it to start with a negative. And you have to think about what can divide into 49 and into 63. I know that it's 7. Both of these also have an x. So if I divide both of these by that GCF, that negative 7x, negative and a negative is a positive 7, and then x, because the x squared breaks into x and x. And then minus 63 divided by negative 7 is a minus 9, and the x's cancel out. Again, you can put the original in y1, your answer choice in y2, and they should be exactly the same. In the sequence, a sub 3 equals 12, a sub 4 equals 14, and a sub 5 equals 16, which equation can be used to find the nth term? This is telling us that the third term is 12. The fourth term is 14. The fifth term is 16. That is all that those symbols mean. These are equations. You could put these in y equals 8 minus x. And let's see, does it have this points? This says 3, 5. So nope. Let's try the next one. 8 plus 2x. 3, 14. Nope. 6 plus 2x. 3, 12, 4, 14, 5, 16. That has all the points that we need. That's your correct answer. You also know that to get from here to here, it's plus 2, here to here, it's plus 2, here to here, it's plus 1, here to here, it's plus 1. So your slope has to be 2 over 1, which is a positive 2. So that could have limited it down to B or C right away. You could have also put these in stat. If you remember, you do stat, enter, type in your points, and then you do stat, write 4, and it'll give you your equation. Y equals 2x plus 6. And then you just have to match and know that the 6 is the y-intercept and that 2 is the slope. 13. To factor, we need to use our box. The first term in the first box, that 28x squared, negative 3 in the last box. We need to find the factors of 28 times negative 3, which is a negative 84. That add to give you that middle term, which is a negative 5. If you don't remember how to find your factors, you can take the number divided by x in y1, the number divided by x plus x in y2. And I'm looking for a negative 5. So 7 and negative 12. So 7x, negative 12x. Again, even if you don't have a calculator at home, you're just looking for what can divide evenly into negative 84. You can do that with the calculator that's on your phone. 1, negative 84, 2, negative 42, and keep going until you get the ones that you need. Okay? So now that I have these, right away I see a negative. You need to pull out the negative. 12 can break into 3 times 4. This can break into 3 times 1. They both can divide into 3. These both can divide by 7 and x, because this is 7 times 4, and this is 7 times 1. Here you can see they both have a 4 and an x, and they both have a 1. So your factors are 7x minus 3 and 4x plus 1. So just like we've been checking all the others, you can put the original in y1 and your answer choice in y2. So I'm going to put 28x squared minus 5x minus 3, and my answer choice, parentheses 7x minus 3, 4x plus 1. Everything is exactly the same. I did it correctly. So please use that Y1, Y2 trick on your test. So yes, you can put this in the box, but if you can recognize that this is a difference of two squares, we know that 36 can break into 6 and 6, x squared breaks into x and x, a negative 49 breaks into 7 times negative 7. So your factors are 6x plus 7 and 6x minus 7. Again, you can put the original in y1, answer choices in y2. Now this only works if they give you both of your factors, which they won't do every single time on your DPM tomorrow. So 36x squared minus 49, 6x plus 7, 6x minus 7. Oh, I forgot the 7 here. There you go. And everything is exactly the same. I solved it correctly. To divide, I told you to cover up the bottom and treat it as two separate problems. So I need to put this in the box. The first term is your x squared. The last term is the 4. So I need to find the factors of 4 that add to give me 5. So that's 2 times 2, or 1 times 4. 1 times 4 add to give me 5. So 1x, 4x. Both of these divide by 4. X squared has to break into x and x, and that would be 1. So on the top, you get x plus 4, x plus 1. On the bottom, you have x plus 1. This cancels out, so your answer is just x plus 4. Which, guys, you can check this in your calculator as long as you put those in parentheses. So we're taking x squared plus 5x plus 4 divided by x plus 1, and we're saying it's equivalent to x plus 4. Everything is exactly the same. It's crazy. Original y1, answers in y2, and they should be the same. Write an equivalent expression. That key word, that equivalent, you know you could do y1, y2. I'm distributing. 4 times 2 is 8. X and x is x squared. 4 times negative 6 is a negative 24, and there's an x. So let's check. Original in y1, 4x, parentheses, 2x minus 6. Answer in y2, 8x squared minus 24x. Everything is exactly the same. The growth of a tree is found from the difference. Difference means subtraction between the starting height of the tree and the new height of the tree, where t represents the time in years. So I'm going to take this new height, this 45t, and I'm going to subtract this 7.5t plus 63, that original height. You need to distribute the negative. So 45t, this would be minus 7.5t minus 63. You can combine these t's, and it would give you 37.5t minus 63. We've got that key word, that equivalent. Let's use our calculator trick. So in y1, I'm going to type what I have. 5x squared minus 3 divided by 4, parentheses, 8x minus 1 plus 3x squared. Okay, so that's the original problem. Okay, let's try our answer choices. 8x squared minus 6x plus 3 divided by 4. Those are exactly the same. Yep, that's your answer right there. What you're doing is you're distributing this negative 3/4. So we get 5a squared. Negative 3/4 times 8. If you don't know, you just need a 4-function calculator. Negative 3 divided by 4 times 8. So minus 6a. Negative times a negative is a positive 3/4. And then you still have that 3a squared. Combine your like terms to get 8a squared minus the 6a plus the 3/4. All right, the graph f of x equals x squared is transformed. So this is your original, and that's just x squared. And now they're adding some number in front of the x squared. What's the value of n? So that means this equation is 4x squared. This equation is 1/2 x squared. This equation is 1/4 x squared. This equation is 2x squared. So it's kind of hard to tell, so I like to get some points. So there's the point 0, 0. This point is at 2, 2. Is that a pretty point? I don't think so. Let's use this point instead. 4, 8. Okay, so there's some pretty points that I need to see on my table. So let's just use our equations. We got 4x squared. 0, 0, 2, 16, nope. Let's try the next one. 1/2 x squared. 0, 0, 2, 2, ooh, looking good. 4, 8, yes, that is your answer. You could also use the graph. You know that it needs to be getting wider in comparison. I've got to compare it to that x squared, sorry about that. So there's the original, there's your new. Yes, it's getting wider. So I knew that it had to be a smaller number. So it wasn't going to be 4 or 2, but you kind of need specific points to tell the difference between those. All right, what is the domain of this function? You could plug it in your graph, in your calculator, 9 minus x squared. Domain means left to right. This is going to keep going. This is going to keep going. Every single quadratic function, the domain is all real numbers. Which expression is a factor? Okay, so we're only talking about one of them. So I've got to use the box. I can't really do y1, y2. So 18x squared, and we've got 2. 18 times 2 is 36, and I need them to add to give me negative 15. 1 and 36. I know I need them both to be negative because I need a negative number. You do 2 and 18, 3 and 12. Those would give me a negative 15. So negative 3x, negative 15x. Right away, I know I got to pull out the negatives. This can break into 15 and 1, because this is 2 and 1. They both just share a 1. This is 6 and 3. Hold on, I'm confused. 2x squared, 2. Oh, that's right. This is supposed to be a 12. I was like, this, I messed up somewhere. Sorry about that. So negative 3x and negative 12x. So that's 2 and 1. This is 2 and 6. They both share a 2. This is 6 and 3. This is 3 and 1. So these both share a 3 and an x. These both share a 6 and an x. These both share a 1. So your factors are 3x minus 2 and 6x minus 1. So you could put this in y1 and this whole thing in y2 to check yourself. 18x squared minus 15x plus 2. And then we've got 3x minus 2 6x minus 1 and everything is exactly the same. But what if they're only giving me one of them? Okay, since I don't have both of them, you've got the original in y1. They should be crossing. They should be sharing a 0. That's because they're going to be decimals. Okay, so you can see that they cross at the x-axis. None of the other ones will cross at the x-axis, but that is a trick if you just want to remember that. Draw a quadratic function that has no zeros or no x-intercepts. So a quadratic is a U shape, and it should have no x-intercepts. So it could be up here going like this. It could be down here going like this. It could be right here going like this. As long as it does not cross this x-axis right here. There's so many different ones that you could draw. All right. And that is it. So make sure that you have that completed, all of your work shown, and just make sure you use your calculator tomorrow wherever possible.